Once again, Toy Soldier collector. I figured I wasn't gonna do this, but man, I'm not a Toy Soldier collector. I don't have any. Well, actually, no, I do have some Toy Soldiers, little plastic Airfix ones, but they don't really count. I don't have these, but I'm starting to think I'd like to get my hands on some of these old school glossy ones. I don't know why. But I tell you, this magazine, man, like I said, it's something I'm not into, but has made me gain interest in it. Obviously through the connection of history, military stuff, and of course miniature work. Which to me, miniature work I always like. Somewhat for possible war gaming, but I'm still not a huge gaming guy. But for filming, right, the miniatures are very useful. And just in general, it's always it's like I said, bi-monthly, so it's affordable. Right? Also you even got like you got like look at this, the four feathers. Right? Wasn't it a movie? Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I like the. I mean, there's also a carryover. There's more I see of these old toy soldier type style glossy figures from the 19th century being applied to like the horror of the time. So there's the crossovers there. So and then you got look at this cool ass Panzer Mark III. But regardless, look at here. Oh, whoa, yes. What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh no, no, no! There's a lot of bad symbols in this. So, like I said, I don't have to mention who are the stars. Who are the ones that everybody wants to get. Right? That's there's no. I don't even have to say what country's military still fascinates us. Nearly a century later, and this is what I mean when I say the old glossy figures, like these kind of less detailed figures, kind of like what you would have had back in the day. So and you got like. Oh, then the Natal, right? The Natal was it militias? They were helping the British in the Anglo-Zulu War. So, of course, like I said, for model work, of course, I probably couldn't afford it, and that's one of the things. That's a it is a boomer. It is a boomer hobby. This none of this stuff is really cheap. Like I said, the ones I had, the Airfix stuff I have, were relatively inexpensive. Uh, but I am working on some model soldiers that I got at the surplus store. So I'm working on it. So yeah, here. What is? Let's look at this. Oh man, good dude. Vietnam War, and he's got a gun, but apparently there is another version which they have not shown here. Why didn't they show it? There's an endowed German young woman named Heidi with brown hair and Lily with black hair. Either variant wears a helmet, trousers, and boots, and that's it. And rests an MG34 on her shoulders and has an ammo belt draped around her neck in a subtle way that supplies a smidgen of modesty. And of course, that's the Vietnam War version. I think I would like this. You're a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a freaking human being. So, but like you said, there's problematic things with these boomers. So, like I said, we're all boomers now. Oh, oh my God. Oh, okay. Problematic. Oh, God, I can't see. Can't even look at that. So, and now, of course, you get these very, very detailed soldiers now. Of course, Rogers Rangers. You know them, right? And of course, the French Fusiliers during the. I always thought it was cool how in the French and Indian War, these British sons of bitches would go thinking they're gonna whoop the French and the Indians. They get massacred and chewed up, not just by Indians and by Canadians, which is to say, French European men who grew up trapping and fighting like the Indians, but also running into professional French Marines and artillerymen who proceed to blow them to bits. It was just interesting. So, of course, we know who won in the end, but we go through. Yeah, just, I mean, like I said, I like the old fashioned ones for myself, but man, some of the detail on these modern ones, man, Zulu, right? Just impressive. Like I said, this is, I guess, Imperial Miniatures, right? So, these are like the old, I think these are the old companies that used to make these back in the day. Although Germany is represented, I think Germany actually made probably more. So now this covering the history, of course, Citadel, Operation Citadel. I mean, how many things are you gonna have about Kursk, right? And pretty much, One thing that is always interesting to me. Okay, I'm the first to tell you the Red Army were tough sons of bitches. I'm the first one to tell you that the Soviets made many great weapons. I'm a huge fan of their assault guns, particularly, and the PPHS, man. You wanted to grab that thing whenever you could out there. Okay, but there seems to be this weird revision going on, because you can revise anything. There's weird revision going on that somehow the Red Army was better and outfought the Germans all the time, and they were outnumbered and not the Germans. You could convince people of anything, apparently. So, but this is even just more. The whole idea of Prokhorovka, right? The whole idea that it was a German defeat, of Kursk, right? And of course Prokhorovka, which is funny because everyone admits, I mean, the Soviets had like 4 times the amount of destroyed weaponry, but looking into it, right? In Prokhorovka, you had a couple of Stugs. You had 4 Tiger tanks. Yeah. Responsible for the destruction of a considerable amount of Soviet army. Right? There's only 7 Panzer IVs, Stug 3s, and Marder 3s with about 4 Tigers, and they did what they usually did. They whooped the fucking hell out of the fucking Reds. Okay, they outfought them. They were out fighting them in the last week of the damn war. Anyway, so, and yes, the Red Army got very good. I'm just saying, I'm laughing at all the revisions they have. Yes, the German tanks had problems. Yes, the Germans had no chance logistically. They had to fight a perfect fight, and that was impossible. They weren't invincible. The new recruits weren't as experienced. But I'm just saying, everybody knows, and that's why you always are going to see these things. Even maybe when the demographics shift, you're still going to have these are the guys you're going to want to see. Okay, these are the guys you want to see. I'm not even talking about politics and ideology and all that. You're never going to see the likes of stuff like this again. If you get what I'm saying, in terms of men of the West as amazing as warriors, literally fighting the entire world, you're not going to see this again. And that's why, even to the people that hate this when they see it, there's still power there when you see these men. There's always this fascination. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that. It's interesting too. Now, I will say that these old style toy soldiers, it works more. You can see, like, once you get to World War One, maybe early in the war, but after the war, at the very latest, you really like the old-fashioned glossy soldiers. You really can't do this with World War II stuff, right? Not just because of the mechanization, but it just doesn't feel right, This guy's interesting, talking about war gaming, right? The history of war gaming, like Kriegspiel. Of course, what was the original war game? One of them, chess, right? It was the first serious war game. Remember, Tamerlane played like 8-dimensional chess or something, right? Like Captain Kirk and Trump. Of course, you had chess enthusiasts develop it, but you started to get, like, especially in the 19th century, right? After they went through the Napoleonic Wars, the Prussians looking for ways to improve, their strategic and their training, and they've done it with the war game, right? So you see, it's interesting, right? Training to Prussian officers. So it's just the history of it. There's even a guy even suggests a YouTube channel, right? Quite interesting videos on YouTube. You even recommends one, so that's kind of cool. So, and of course, you also have remember, you have maneuvers. Right? You have sort of a war game that was done with actual live troops, right? You have maneuvers. Obviously, this is one of the Kaiser. This is before the war, and the guy who wrote this, because you know what, this is not that far different from Scary Monsters. Most of these dudes are just fans, right? Joe DeMarco, hey Joey, texting photos, and Joe talks about how he made his diorama. Remember dioramas? I kept bringing up. I've become fascinated with my childhood school project. Dioramas were always fun to do. I always liked it as a kid. and how he made his one. You know, inexpensive. He went to Home Depot and got some stuff here, right? Smooth hollow core doors, some sawhorses, flat grass sheet, right? The hobby store, right? The sheets, the foam. So he's like a DIY project, and he set up this nice job, man. All right. And Joey lives in Neptune, New Jersey. All right, by the shore. So, but just in general, man, it's just really look at this stuff. This, how could you not? You know, I mean, some guys like railroad sets. But like this would be impressive, man. This is impressive to me. I would love, you know, seeing someone have stuff like this. So I should check out that museum. That's somewhere not far from here, apparently. But and this is the big picture here. So the Kaiser. What did they do with the Kaiser? Remember that? Where's that from? Yeah. So there's more another guy with a collection of like these rare, interesting things, different kinds of the toy soldiers. You know, I learned about the flats. Apparently, there's like 3/4 ones, which are sort of not totally 3D. So now here's the more modern stuff. This is always cool. It's always cool with the modern stuff. But you know, I prefer seeing these older things. You know, and interesting too. A lot of guys are getting their hands on some of the authentic molds, right? Or they're selling molds. So guys are crafting their own soldiers. I think that's fascinating. I told you in my high school we had a foundry up on the roof, okay? And we actually did foundry work, which is essentially what this is sort of doing, you know. And these are semi-flat. So this is you have the flats, you have the normal ones, and you have the semi-flats. And actually, I think these semi-flats, they're sort of in profile more than like straight ahead. I think these look cooler. I don't know. It's just fascinating when I see this stuff. Stuff I've never seen before. It's like all new to me. But meanwhile, these are probably century old, 50 years old. Going back to the other time I keep talking about. You see the Peter Cushing, the path reel of Peter Cushing where there's toy soldiers. I always loved that. I wonder what happened to that. I think he probably gave it to like, he probably donated it to like a museum or something. So he was a cool guy. And the guy even mentions more war gamings, right? It's classic war games, like The War Game by Charles Grant. Charge, How to Play War Games by Brigadier Peter Young and Lieutenant Colonel J.P. Lawford. Can you imagine, you know, the war games from, you know, obviously the biggest wargaming guys are still going to be military guys, right? And he mentions a bunch of other interesting books here. So, yeah, so I just the tons of info. I probably won't even access or ever get to like half of this or even 3/4 of this, but it's just interesting there, you know. With all this stuff we talk about modern times, there is the possibilities are there. So, yeah, the Spanish Legion. Look at that. That's a cool. Isn't that a cool logo, man? Yeah. Like, the dictator Franco. They'll never forgive him for winning, will they? So, you know, and right, the Legion, the Spanish Legion. Of course, they mentioned the new Spanish Legion has men and women. It is very progressive. Anyway, they go through the old plastic soldiers. Right, of course, like this, the Airfix. This is what I'm talking about. These are the ones where you cut them. They come like this. You know, remember the Smurfs? Remember these things? They used to have like the little mushroom house, the Smurfs. You know, and you get the Japanese soldiers. Oh no, what are you doing? Come on, man. Yeah, you just here you get some of the model figure stuff. Yeah, we're rounding it out pretty much. So. In terms of the model kits of the tanks, I mean, the other stuff's a little cheaper. And then I'll go to the book. So when you go over the books, you're always going to have at least one offering from Osprey or maybe one of the, Osprey. You know, although Osprey has more than just the ones I look at. They have a whole different line of books that I've never even seen. But anyway, this is the place. Toy Soldier Museum. What is that? Cresco Pie. I gotta look up where that is. So, I think you have to call. It's one of those things, like the Robert E. Howard Museum in Cross Plains. You gotta call them up and make an appointment to go in. So, maybe I'll do that at some point. Just it'd be interesting. So, And I always love looking at this, man. I just think of doing Moonlit Tomb videos with this. But all right, enough. So speaking of Moonlit Tomb, look at that cool Egyptian style armor. Yeah, man, toy soldiers. So just cool, man. You know what? There's a lot of cool things in this dying world, huh?